Outsider art, have you ever heard of that? Outsider art, or art made outside of the traditional art world, is coming into its own. One such artist, the late Ronald Finwall, created a lifetime of work largely unseen. Tomorrow, his family will host an opening at his Frogtown studio at 293 Como Avenue in St. Paul. We're also going to visit a photographic exhibit in Winona by another outsider artist. One Greater Minnesota reporter, Kaomi Goetz, takes a look at the connection between these two unknown Minnesota artists.
So this is the Ron Finwall Art Studio here on Como. Come on in.
Walk inside Ron Finwall's St. Paul studio, and you can feel the artist's spirit.
Since he's passed away now, we were able to clear out everything but the art, and you can see this quite an array.
Finwall left daughter Sean and two other adult children a studio full of artwork created over his life.
One that's always kind of made me think is this dancing lady slash monster man. Now when I look at this, I see my dad's picture in a lot of the work that he did.
Finwall's legacy ranges from paintings, mixed media, to writing. He was interested in human relationships and evolution.
He was, I think, misunderstood as an artist. He never really showed his art. He did have one large showing in 1960 based on the Divine Comedy. He was really taken by that story after he came out of the Korean War, and he created these huge pieces. They're like 40 square feet, and there are about 40 of them.
The works were for sale, but he would only sell them as a set. No one wanted to buy all 40 pieces.
I don't know if my dad was disgruntled over that. He just kind of became more reclusive and didn't sell.
After Finwall died, his kids were left with figuring out what to do with all the art. Was it worth anything? They asked a local expert.
You always enter these situations
Skeptical, right?
with absolute skepticism, because one, it's all unknown. You know, can you come have a look and tell us what we ought to do with all this stuff? Because Dad said to burn it. Well, okay, what position does that put me in, right?
Fitterman decided to look anyway.
Once I crossed the threshold into this space, I was shocked, a bit overwhelmed with what I found here.
What he found was an entire life's work from someone who had to create, but outside conventional art spaces and norms. An outsider artist. And even more rare, most of it had never been seen before.
He decided to go with this art. Yes, it was edgy. Is it for everyone? No. But those who understand outsider art, the concept of art brut, of a compulsion to create and to tell one's life story and put it down in pictures and in writing and in photographs and in sculpture, has a place that needs to be and is being celebrated.
Fitterman says the outsider art market is exploding. Next year, he'll take Finwall's work to the Outsider Art Fair in New York. He says it's not unusual for artists to first gain recognition after their death. That's also the case for an amateur photographer, David Tewes, whose work is being shown in a museum in Winona for the first time.
Folks are coming to the exhibition, they love the story, they love hearing the backstory of how this outsider found art and how it got to the museum. And then once they get through the museum, they're really recognizing the places in the photographs. About half the photographs on display are from Minnesota.
It took a distant relative to uncover David Tewes' work by accident. Inside an old carrying case were hundreds of Kodachrome slides of 1940s and 1950s Minnesota and out west.
He was very meticulous, right? He kept notes on each slide.
Museum curators saw the work as a time capsule.
He was an amateur photographer, but clearly he had an eye. The shots are framed beautifully. He had a great eye for creating a scene. He didn't pose people, he's capturing images of daily life.
Tewes died in 1991. He never married or had children, and aside from enlisting in World War II, spent most of his life in Hutchinson. Perhaps part of the intrigue of deceased outsider artists is the gaps they leave behind.
We kind of have to piece the story together, and I find myself with my coworkers trying to fill in the blanks. Like, why did you go to this place? You know, and as you learn the story more, I learned that from his military records that he was stationed in Pasadena, California for a while. And then I found some images from Pasadena after the war. So was he going back to visit this place as a tourist?
Tewes' work, like Finwall's, was likely affected by his war experience. But where Finwall had deeper existential questions, Tewes' lens saw optimism and hope.
Everyone has a place to make art. You don't have to have a master's degree in art to create art and enjoy the creative process. For me, it's important because I think art is something that everyone should experience, whether you're going to a museum or whether you're creating it on your own. Everyone should have that opportunity to do that.